Welcome back to another episode of All Wizards Talk, a podcast on the All Sports Talk Network. I'm one of your co-hosts, Bryson Akins, joined alongside, as always, by Josh Valdez. Henry's not with us. He's been traveling a little bit. Guy also needs a little bit of break. He's been a workhorse for us over at Wizards on SI as well. And so he needs a much, deserved and needed break for a little bit. He should be back with us on the next podcast, though. Um, but there's been a few things that have happened since last time we got together, Josh. It's been the schedule release came out. There's some interesting
Yeah.
stuff with that. And then just last night, there was some stuff that isn't like anything groundbreaking. We've reported on it already in the past. We've talked about it before, especially with Russell Westbrook retiring now. It's become a little bit more prevalent as back on June 30th, Mark Stein at the sideline was the first on the scene to put out the notion that the Wizards were interested in signing Russell Westbrook. And then last night, he gave a little bit more light on the situation. And I'll go ahead and preface what's going on here, Josh. We can get your thoughts on it here. He started it off by saying, like how serious were the Wizards? And he had a source tell him that Washington made a 2-year offer, not just a 1-year deal, but 2 years. It would have essentially been his last offer in the league. But it was Westbrook that ended those conversations. He was the one that said no to it, and he apparently balked at the specific terms of the offer and or potentially the role presented, and has decided to stop playing instead. What are your thoughts initially about hearing that instead of coming to play for the Wizards on one last contract, he decided to not play for them at all since it's not what he was envisioning for a role?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were just talking, before we start recording it. I think it's fine from his end. I mean, I think it's actually nice because he's being honest. He's like, I don't want to accept the role. Like, I don't. It's just not my thing. Russ is the kind of guy that likes to have the ball a lot. He likes to be really active on the court. He does like to mentor, but not from a
He
backseat
likes to be his
position.
own guy.
Right. Like in Sacramento last season, he was still very much like having, a lot of on-ball reps and really involved. So that's his style. He doesn't want to be Udonis Haslem. That's not him. And so, he's not going to be someone he's not. So no qualms. I think it would have been cool for him to be on the team just to have influence on the young guys, to learn from a guy that talented and accomplished. But also it's not the end of the world either to not, you know what I mean?
No, it's
So
it's not the end of the world. Of course, there were some guys that could have really benefited from learning a little bit from Russ. I think specifically like Will Riley and Bub Carrington would be two guys that could really benefit from learning a little bit of how he drives and finishes as both those guys, being, the lead candidates for the backup point guard role right now. Both of them need to get a little bit better at finishing around the rim. Russ could have definitely taught that with his size and how well he's been able to do that during his entire career. He made a living off of this guy that could punch it down the rim and go through contact whenever he wanted. It'd be nice for those guys to learn like that, but it's not the end of the world. I think that's the key thing of like the
right.
reason, Russ turning this down, it's not the end of the world necessarily. There's still other players out there that they can target or potentially not target as well in free agency. There's also the trade market is still available. They still have some second round picks that they could, attach to go get a backup point guard if they really want a veteran guard in that role in case, let's say, Bub Carrington, Will Riley can't be that backup point guard, and this team is at 40-20 with a few games left in the season.
Yeah, well, speaking of guys that they could get still, we know that according to that Stein report, they're still very into DeMar DeRozan, correct?
Uh,
Uh,
yes and no. All he said at the end was the Wizards, meanwhile, shifted their intent to sign another veteran this offseason by showing some interest in DeMar DeRozan, pursuing
some
the
interest.
former All-Star swingman with teams such as Denver, Miami, and Cleveland.
Yeah, well, yeah. We were talking too. I think it's best to steer clear of him. We've
Sorry, my cat decided to get on my desk for some reason there.
It's all good. I mean, we've talked about this on the pod before. I think Russ would have made sense, kind of like what you were saying with helping the guards drive and stuff. With Demar, I just don't think he's the same kind of player, right? He's not a point guard. It's just another wing guy that would kind of be a logjam, and I don't know if he wants to be Udonis Haslem either. You know,
No, yeah,
so
I doubt he wants to go to a team where he's going to be basically one of the last guys to get off the bench. I don't think he, especially when you look at what he was doing in Sacramento last season as well, he's still a guy that you can play off the bench. He's still someone
mhm.
that you can give 15 to 20 minutes a night to. And in Washington, it's just one of those things where you have younger guys you would just rather play ahead of them to get them those developmental minutes. It's not like this is your pursuit to win it all this year. That's not what this season is. It's another developmental year where it's like, look, we're trying to win 40 games, but we also need some of our young players to show development because they have contract extensions coming up. They need to figure out some of the stuff. So that's a big part of it right there. I did write about the DeMar DeRozan thing just a tad bit last
Mhm.
night when when the Stein report came out.
Yeah.
And there's one reason it does make, well, really two reasons. It kind of makes sense to me if you do go after him. And like being honest, it's not like the free agent market is, like it's not like there's a lot of options out there right now. It's like him, Aaron Holiday, Kevin Love. Like no matter who you're signing this offseason out at this point that the
Yeah.
Wizards can realistically get, none of them are really playing. They're all your end of bench guys, no matter what. So it's not the end of the world, whoever you get. With DeMar DeRozan, there's two things that I can kind of see it being a positive to sign him. The first one, it's another buy low situation. All right. You get the guy on, let's say they give him the same thing as Russ for his contract, 2 years, and let's say hypothetically it's like 6 or 7 million a year. All right, which is not breaking the bank kind of money. It doesn't push you over the luxury tax whatsoever this season or next season. You're doing fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, given that sort of contract, and let's say there's a contender that really needs another wing player, and you have
Mhm.
DeMar DeRozan just sitting on your bench, not getting the time that he can, but he can help out another team. Why not trade him and get another 2 second-round picks back in return? Another buy low situation where it's just you then trade him down the line. Boom. You signed a guy in free agency for basically dirt cheap, almost a vet minimum, and you get 2 second-round picks out of him. That's a win in my book. That's a win.
Yeah, that would be a win, but it's also like a win that you don't need necessarily, right?
No,
Like it's just one of those things that's why, I wouldn't mind if they just left it open or just sign Anthony Gill. I think that at this point, right? Like if they had signed Russ to that 2-year deal, it would have been like, all right, if Russ would have actually accepted that role, it would have been someone with still a lot of cachet in the game and someone who could have helped the young
yep.
guys get to the rim. But yeah, it's just like with DeMar not providing that value as much with like, help having that specific skill as a guard getting to the rim. It's just like I don't even see it in terms of like, oh,
Who can he mentor?
keeping him at the end of the bench and then trade him for 2 seconds. Like, so what? Like, why? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just feels like a lot of work and a lot of process for something that's not that valuable to me. But that's why. And even if they did sign him, it's not the end of the world. It's just don't let him like seriously get in the
Don't let
way
him
of
dictate the
these young
roster.
guys. Yeah, right. Which I
Don't
don't think they would, but
No.
still.
I don't think he would either. And then the second reason for why you do sign him in this hypothetical world where, he might be the first guy out there right now that the Wizards want to go after and get is the two main players for him right now are other Eastern Conference teams that and maybe Washington views himself in this range of, being the 8th through 5th best team in the East. They view themselves in that range a little bit. Well, shoot, maybe the Heat really need DeRozan. And they're like, we need
Mm.
him if we want to try to be one of these teams here in the East. You then gatekeep DeRozan from getting to that team and making, uh, you know, a team that you're competing against right there for a playoff spot, make them even worse in that situation. Same with the Cavaliers, where they haven't signed Harden because it seems like they're still waiting to try to fill out the rest of the roster for rotation. If they want to make it further in the playoffs and continue their success that they've, had for the past few seasons, might be one of those situations they need a DeRozan off the bench. Why not keep him away from two teams that you could probably be in the mix for same record during the regular season as is right now, and limit them from getting even better. That's the other situation where it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you don't let a competitor get better because when you look at the players left, DeMar DeRozan's probably a top 5 option right now in free agency.
Yeah, for talent wise, for sure. The thing is, well, my thing is like you got to consider it's a two-way street. Like, why would he go to the
I get
Wizards
that.
if he can go to the Heat or Cavs and have like a bigger role on a team on both teams that could easily finish ahead of the Wizards? It,
Yep.
it doesn't make a ton of sense from his end. You know what I mean?
No, it
Like,
doesn't make sense. And I'm just trying to lay
uh,
out the reasons why the Wizards
yeah,
would potentially be interested in DeRozan. Like I said, it's not like it's a playing time situation.
yeah,
With every player left, it's not like you're going to give them major time this
right,
season. You're not
yeah,
you're not playing Aaron Holiday, for example, over Will Riley or Bub Carrington. You're not
yeah,
you're not doing
right,
that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about this. It's like it just makes sense to kind of, whether or not you sign AG or just keep it open, it's like I think it's just best to think of it as this is not a player that should be super consequential on the court. And if he is, there's something wrong going on. Or
Yeah.
something bad happened, like guys got hurt, you know what I mean? So that's why
Yeah.
it's not a big deal that they don't have anybody yet.
No, and like we mentioned, it's not the end of the world. It's not like they have an 8-man rotation right now and they need a ninth guy that they can play
Right.
majority of the time. They have what, 11, 12 viable players that they can play?
They have too many. That's the problem. Like
Yep.
they're already overcrowded. They have to decide between guys that are already overcrowded. So adding
Yep.
another one makes sense.
And so it's like I mentioned, it's just one of those things where it's you don't need another player. It's not like you need the rotation going on there for more depth and more talented players there. DeMar DeRozan, he's going to be like that 12th or 13th man. He's basically going to be fighting Chris Middleton for minutes, is what it is. And Chris Middleton himself is already going to be battling for rotation minutes in this roster as is. So it's not the end of the world if you don't sign him. It's just one of those things, and we talked about it in a previous podcast. At this rate, I'm leaning towards just keeping the roster spot open. Maybe you trade for someone to take up that last roster spot because that's still an option. You don't have to fill it up with a free agent. You go out there and trade 2 of your second round picks for someone else because second round picks you can replenish those fairly easily in the NBA. And so it's
Yeah.
just at this rate, just keep it open. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Other than that, though, the schedule did come out. I do
Yep.
think the Wizards are still getting a little bit of disrespect. They
Yep.
only had 6 nationally televised games this season, which is
Yeah.
bottom 10 in the NBA. And this is not me. I want to preface this with this is not me saying that I think they needed to get like 20. I think
Yeah.
like 10, 10 to
Right.
12 would have been a good amount.
Yeah. Not bottom 10, but
No,
but again, I always say that they're gonna just have to earn it, just from the national perspective. Like, yes, it's unfair considering that, they have so many exciting additions in comparison to last year, but people are just not gonna get over the past until you really show them on the court.
no,
So
they're not gonna be even a little bit worried about that. I mean, they are tied for the fourth least amount in the NBA.
yeah, it's crazy. And
Like
and,
that,
and LA
the
Clippers
Clippers
have
have
like
more.
11,
Clippers
11
have
games
8, Magic
or
have
the 8.
8.
Okay.
Like to me, it doesn't make a ton of sense why they
Yeah.
only have like it's them and the Jazz. I don't get why those two teams only have 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it, like with Jazz, it's like the Utah part of it doesn't help, with the market, um,
Yeah.
but and the team's history as well. I mean, DC is like a bigger market than Utah, but still, it's not on the level of
Well,
New
by
York
by
or LA.
market size, it is the 8th largest television market in the United States.
DC?
DC.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's more than Utah, but it's not on NY, LA, Miami. So, um, but if they do like next season they could like 27, 28 they could get more if they cook this season. It's just like they're just gonna have to show it
Yeah.
on the
They'll
court.
they'll
But
just have to
on the
show it,
bright
of
side
course.
though, they do have a lot more national TV games than they've had in recent years. So
They have. They
yeah.
do. They only had what, 2 last season?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think it's been like 5 the past, 4
The
years or
past
so.
yeah, past 4 years combined, like it's crazy.
It's
So
they definitely have more. Like I said, for me, it's just frustration because it's like you look at what Washington, has done this offseason and even before it. They acquired Anthony Davis, they got Trey Young, they got the first overall pick into AJ DeBonsa. You know, all of these moves is something similar that Dallas did, when they drafted Cooper Flag 2025 offseason, have Anthony Davis now. They got 23 nationally televised games. And the Wizards, very similar
that's
situation.
crazy.
The Wizards, very similar situation, only got 6. And you can't say it's like, oh, well, Dallas is such a larger market, fourth biggest market in the United States for television. DC is 8th. It's not like it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
can't you can't say it's
Yeah.
purely market size.
Yeah, plus it's like for that disparity, that's more than 3 times what the Wizards have. I mean, yeah, Flag is great. Kyrie coming back's cool, but I mean, the Wizards also have a number 1 pick. and they got Trey Young and AD. It's like, for them to have that much less national TV time than Dallas, yeah, that's crazy. Again, because Dallas hasn't been good recently either. Ever since they made the finals, obviously, and then traded
Yeah,
Luca.
it's
But yeah, but again, it's just Dallas still has a better history than DC recently, right? So it's just
yeah,
one of those
I get
things.
what you're
It's just
saying with
the
that.
bias.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's frustrating looking at it where it's like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And there's some teams in there where it's, they're clearly just focused on like, oh well, it's like, I just think they're focused on promoting the wrong players right now is another thing. I think that's a big thing with it where you look at a common trend with a lot of the teams that are getting a ton of games,
yeah.
nationally televised, they're on the verge of retirement. Like it's
Because they're promoting the old guys more than the young
Yeah,
guys.
the
Yeah,
Warriors have 28 nationally televised games. I get Steph is a big name.
it's crazy.
Outside of Steph, what do the Warriors have going on?
Yeah, literally just
They might not
yeah,
even make the play-in. Keep that in mind. And
right.
they have 28 nationally televised games.
They got Steph and Yaxel. That's it.
And so
Like,
and that's kind of my point where it's like I'm not saying they need to be over the Warriors. I'm not saying they need to be in this 20, range of nationally televised games. It's just the fact that some of these teams are getting so many more that
yeah,
haven't made the moves the Wizards have, don't have the hype that are around them right now with their young core. And it's
right,
like, what's the point of promoting these players that are retiring after this season or next two?
right,
And all of a sudden, Wizards are on the scene. No one knows who they are. Same with the Jazz. It's
right.
like a bunch of these teams. It's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like Denver also having 28, where it's like I get Jokic is a big name. He's what
Right.
32 now.
I mean, that's less egregious than Golden State, to be
It's less
fair.
egregious. It's
But
just
but yeah, I know.
it's
I think the league is just kind of coaxing all the juice it can out of the older generation before it gets the young guys. Um,
yeah.
Unfortunately,
It's
but
I just for me from a pure marketing standpoint is what I
yeah,
look at it as with nationally televised games. You want to market your future as well.
right,
And when you give Utah and Washington a combined 12 nationally televised games,
yeah.
that's not
That's not
really
good.
marketing them well.
Well, that's the thing. It's just because they don't care about them until they have to, until they have no other
Yeah.
options. You know what I mean? It's like kind of laziness. Like you just
Well,
want the
they care too
draft
about two of
picture.
their young talents in
Oh,
Coop
flag.
and
Yeah.
Wimby.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. But Coop and Wemby are seen as like the generational guys, right?
Yeah.
Whereas AJ's
They're
and Darren Peterson are considered really good, but not as good. So
yeah, it's just I think it's kind of, wild to be given this amount of nationally televised games. Like, Golden State, like I said, for example, where it's like, come on, is that really, the team that we want to be promoting going forward? Is
hmm
that is that really it? It
yeah,
just
like God forbid Steph gets hurt. You got them in 28 national TV games, man.
I
Like
know.
it's wild.
Imagine Steph goes down first 2 weeks of the season. He can't play
Like
the
you're
entire
putting so
season.
many chips on the one guy, man. Like
It's just it is absurd. If you gave him 15, I'm not complaining. I don't care.
right.
15 to 18, that's fine by me. I get
What was
that.
it,
All right.
28?
28. 28. That I think
So
that
wait,
has him
what is
with the
that rank?
seventh most.
Seventh most?
Yeah.
Seventh most, man.
For
Yeah, for a team
reference,
that
OKC has
right.
30.
Yeah.
For reference, OKC has 30
Oh my
and
God, man.
um yeah, OKC has 30 and then it's Denver Warriors.
So I'm saying, like, I
So
remember when
second.
it was such a big debate, like who's going to be the face of the league a couple of years ago, and it's like now it's like there's clearly faces like Wemby and Coop, like we were saying, are easily two of the big faces
But that's
for
just
the
not
generation.
that's not the players that the league is promoting
Right, I'm
besides,
saying, but they don't
Cantor.
they don't want to push forward yet. You know what I mean? They're still stuck on the old guys. They're still stuck on Braun and Steph.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just some of the
So
matchups that they're giving as well. It's not good marketing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's kind of disrespectful to some teams and players as well. It's like there's a game going on in Paris. All right. Of course, you have the Spurs playing that game. Do you know who the Spurs are playing in Paris?
oh, is it New Orleans?
New Orleans. And
Yeah,
I
that's
I get
crazy.
I get the Bayou Cajun. I get that cultural stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a big French market though when it comes to players.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to go and watch the Pelicans where
Yeah.
you look at a team that is made up of a ton I say a ton, a decent amount of French players, along with players that have played professionally in France or went to school in France as well, like Keyshawn George, for example, and Will Riley. Those guys, like it would have made sense to put the Wizards there with Alex Sarr being notably the second biggest young French name in basketball right now.
Wait, Riley, Will Riley played in France, you said?
I think he did.
Really? Well, you mean before Illinois?
Yeah. I think he was in France for a little bit. I know Keyshawn George was.
Yeah, we know that, but that's news to me about Will.
I might
Well,
I might be getting mixed up with Switzerland, but
I didn't even
I'm
know he
pretty
was
sure he was
overseas.
in Europe at one point.
Got it.
I'm
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was in Europe at one
He
point.
went to Southwest Academy Prep in London, Ontario.
And
Uh,
so
Cambridge, Ontario as well.
I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe just Canada. I could
yeah.
have swore he was in
No,
Europe at
just up
some
north.
point. But I know Keyshawn George was there as well. Yep, like I
Yeah.
said, you have Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, where it's just you have all these international players, especially
Right.
guys that have, some sort of ties to France. Why'd you give the Pelicans that game?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's ridiculous. Yeah, it probably is just for the bit for the Bayou thing, you know. But
it
yeah, it's
just doesn't
kind of
make like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense is the thing. It
yeah,
just it just doesn't. I'm pretty sure they have more nationally televised games than the Wizards as well.
yeah.
Like
The Pelicans do?
it's I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Wait, yeah. Can you confirm that the Pelicans should not have more? That's you cannot justify that under any angle.
Because I'm looking at this list by Yahoo with it, and they were ranking, like doing the 10, most and 10 least amount. And I was on the least amount, and the Pelicans weren't on it whatsoever.
Wow. Wow, national TV game. Yeah. Dude, the Pelicans, it's like
They have two. They
okay,
just
no,
weren't on
they
the
only have
list.
two. Yeah.
They just weren't on the list for some reason, which
Yeah, they
they
only
need
have
to
two.
figure it out. But
Yeah, no,
like,
that makes sense though, because the Pelicans are like the least
yeah.
watchable.
But it's just one
So,
of those things. Like you look at it, it's like that game just doesn't make sense.
yeah.
And then where they put some of the matchups as well. Jazz and Wizards, all right? One of the biggest games for when you're talking young talent, all right?
Hmm.
It drew a, packed stadium when we were in summer league for that game.
Yeah.
All right? They put it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's the best place to put a game where you're, promoting two of the potential young faces of the league.
Well, see, but they want to because they want to, it's that they have that business connection with them, They want, yeah,
It's
right.
money.
So
It's money. That's
that's
all it
yeah,
is. They just want more
they want
money. They want you to
yeah,
spend it. And
yeah,
don't sell out. Don't sell out, guys. I'm telling you right now, do not sell out and pay for the $25 subscription or whatever it is to watch this one game on Amazon Prime to watch them. Don't do
that's
it.
the thing. But that's the thing though, they're gonna keep pushing, this the whole thing with get this streamer, get this streamer, that's just where the world's going, unfortunately.
It's not
But
great. And there's some games that I'm definitely going to be watching.
yeah.
And that's another thing with the schedule release. Like there are some key games that I'm like, hey, like, probably pay attention to that. Like there's one early in the season, November 9th against the Pistons, where it's not actually televised or anything. It's not like it's a rivalry game or anything like that, but that's going to be a real like test for this team early in the season to kind of determine like, hey, Pistons were the first seed last year. They're still supposed to be one of the better teams in the East. If you can hang in this game and potentially beat them, that is a good sign for you going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's kind of leading into what I was going to bring up next was like what games stand out to you. Even though they're not enough on national TV, they do have a lot of good matchups.
They do.
Um, you
They
know,
do. And one of the first ones that I saw for it was I think it's their first actually televised game. It might not be, but it's definitely one early in the season. A big one that I see is November 24th, Respect the Cup against the Boston Celtics here. But that's because I could see this as a game that decides who wins that group and
mm,
potentially makes it in as that final team. And
yeah,
so, because if the Wizards go 3-1 in their group, which they have the chance of doing,
that's the thing. Yeah,
they have the chance of going 3-1 in their group. You have a chance of winning it, but you also have a chance of making it in as that fourth team, which would be
right.
huge for the Wizards with how young they are.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the thing. With the cup, it's like this is going to be a cool experiment for them because obviously it's going to be the first time they have a chance to do anything in the cup since its
Mhm.
inception. And, I think as the years go on and on, teams will take the cup more and more seriously. Not as like you have to win the whole thing or you're a failure or anything, but it's just like to have some high leverage moments early on in the season. That Knicks Spurs NBA Cup final was pretty cool. Having that
It
extra
was
game.
it's
So
the closest thing to a playoff atmosphere this young group's gonna get.
right, that's
That's
the
what it
thing. Like
is.
just having a little higher stakes. Just having that extra prize,
Having
just
it's
kind of
basically
see how
win or
those.
go home is what it is.
Right, right.
Having that and some of these guys, shoot, it's what, 500,000 prize if you win it for each player?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact amount,
I
but
don't
yeah,
remember the exact number, but for some of these guys, especially on rookie
right,
deals, like the Cam Whitmores, Justin Champagne's, like, that's a lot of money that they'd really like.
right.
That's and
Yeah,
so they're definitely gonna be trying to go out there and win, especially with that on the line, but like I said, go home, win or go home situation. Like, this is like, it's a very important game, November 24th against the Celtics. Very important game to kind of not only see how the Wizards can do against one of the better teams in the East, but also in a playoff like atmosphere.
yeah. So the each player that wins the whole thing wins 530,000. Then the
Insane.
yeah whoever loses in the finals gets 212. So
Just
212 each. Yeah, but yeah,
it's just it's insane amount of money for some of those guys.
right.
And so
Uh,
it's also a home game as well.
yeah. That's the thing. It's just like just to measure up against the Celtics in general. Like, let's see how you do against the Celtics, who will still be a solid team despite the absolutely terrible Jalen Brown trade. So it's just from that standpoint, like seeing how they do against a solid Eastern Conference team, but also having the extra NBA Cup element.
Yep.
That's
That's
definitely one of the ones I flagged as well.
Yep, and
Another
if you
one,
win that first game, you get to go to Vegas, and that's another
right,
experience there where it's like you have to travel now and play a win or go home game. That's another situation to get
right.
used to.
Another one I was looking at was now that Trey Young is healthy, hopefully he stays healthy. He'll actually get to play the Hawks.
Oh,
So
I thought you were gonna say a different team.
no, no. Oh, yeah, not that one. We'll get to them later. But yeah, on November 4th, they'll face the Hawks. Young Trey Young will actually take the court against the Hawks for the first time since the trade.
Yep,
So that
and
one's gonna be pretty cool.
it's not even that narrative as well. Also, another team that's probably gonna be that middle of the pack range in the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's what's cool about these games is like they have multiple angles.
Hmm.
Like it's the with the Boston one, it's like the NBA Cup thing, but with this one in Atlanta, it's like, okay, like this is a team that you could like surpass if you
Yeah,
really cook enough. But you got to be on it though, because Atlanta's not, you can't.
they're not a pushover.
Yeah, they're not
They
pushing.
they
They're the only team
arguably
that beat
have
the
they arguably
right.
have the best defense in the Eastern Conference now.
Yeah, and they're the only team that beat the Knicks twice in the playoffs. Like they're legit, and CJ showed last season that like he can cook for that squad. Like
Yeah.
they really
When you have CJ McCollum as a second option, he's always been a great second option.
yeah,
He always has. Jalen Johnson, he's a
yeah,
good offensive player as well. Like I mentioned, they already probably have the best defense in the Eastern Conference as well. They even bolstered that some more this offseason. So it's one of those things where it is a tough team that's going to be there in the middle of the pack. And I see him as like, the sixth or fifth seed in the East right now, where if you can go out there and beat them, they only play each other. Do they play each other three or four times? I can't remember.
the Wizards and Hawks.
Yeah,
I'd have to look at the exact amount,
I think it's
but
four.
because I know
I think
they're in
they're
the
in the
NBA
same.
Cup as well,
Yeah,
right?
I think they're in the same
NBA Cup too.
division. If they're in the same division, it's four.
Right.
But you go out there, you split both those games. That's a good sign. And so it's just one of those. It's another one of those games where it's not only kind of the storyline thing, but it's also a team where hopefully you're in the same kind of level as them.
Yeah.
And it leads
Yeah.
me to like the first one kind of out of conference with them as well. And it's a little bit weird. There's no storyline to it, but January 5th against the Lakers, where it's like the Lakers are going to be one of those teams in the middle of the pack in the West, where I
Mm,
see them as like, a fifth seed out in the West right now, fifth or fourth seed. You beat them, that's a really good sign.
yeah.
You beat one of the,
Yeah.
what is going to be considered one of the top teams in the West, especially if you sweep them during the season. That is a
Yeah.
really good sign going forward.
Yeah, it's so funny to like think about the games and this, actually looking for wins now, and
Hmm.
it's like, so the thing is like it's an 82 game slate. There's gonna be some, upset wins, upset losses, right? But like picking these ones out just to see like, okay, you can't learn everything from one game, but it's just like a litmus test, to kind of see how is your progress in the grand scheme of things, You can kind
Yeah,
of see a little bit of that. Obviously, depending on health and everything too, but. Yeah, that's a good call. Is that home or away that one?
I think it's a way.
Okay.
I
Because
I, I
because that's the
think
other thing. Like, if you can get them on the road too, that's extra
I'm checking
impressive.
the calendar right now. No, it's at home.
No, it's at home.
It,
Okay,
it's
well,
part of
still,
that. It's part of that 6 game home stretch that they have
yeah, yeah,
starting in
yeah.
January.
Got it.
And then another one that I had. This would be the last one I mentioned because we already mentioned that Utah and um, Washington matchup. But
Yeah.
the first one that they have to go to New York and play the
Yes.
Knicks. That's
Yes.
going to be a big one because it's going to be Trae Young's first time going to New York in a Wizards jersey. It's going to be fun to see if that kind of rivalry is still there. If it was always a Trae in New York thing instead of Atlanta
It's like
and New
around
York.
Christmas that one.
No, this is March 20th where they
March.
go to New York.
Oh.
They
Oh.
play around Christmas.
Yeah, but it's in DC.
It's in DC. They only
Okay.
have one game in New York since they're not in the same division.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, they
but
they play the Nets more than the Knicks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Um.
so it's
Yeah, that one's gonna be a movie. That Trey Young in the Garden.
yeah, and it's probably his first time actually playing the Garden in what 2 years.
Yeah, I have to look that up too. I mean,
I feel like it's been a while since he's played in the Garden.
yeah. Wait, did he do that dice roll thing at half court in the Garden
Yeah,
or no?
it was in
Yeah,
the
that was
Cup.
in the Garden.
It
Okay,
was
that
in the
was the
Cup.
cup. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that was
So
2 years
maybe since
ago.
then. Yeah, wow, that's great. Time flies. Um, yeah, no, that one is going to be obviously great theater for sure.
And
Um,
so, and it's also another good matchup where it's like if you can hold your own against the defending champs,
especially in the
it's a really good
Garden.
sign. And the
You
Garden
know,
as well, one of the toughest places to
yeah.
play.
Yeah,
So
yeah, especially with Trey. Trey's kind of been like he's made it a point that he still like has
he's
smoke for
made
the
it a
Knicks.
clear point this
In the,
offseason where it's like,
yeah,
yeah, New York is still, part of the hate watch.
it's so funny because it's like now it's like a whole different situation now since it's like
Yeah.
that was a long time ago. But he's just he's a I think he's a good entertainer. I'll say
Oh yeah.
like
No,
he really
he
plays that
draws
side of it.
crowds.
Yeah, he
He
really
definitely
is.
draws
So
crowds. And so I'm
um,
curious, what exactly do you think about his little, PR run that he did with, hating on the Knicks?
I mean. I just think it's entertainment. I think that he obviously knows that, he's got work to do in this respect, given that the Knicks just won the championship and he
Yeah.
hasn't been to the playoff or hasn't won a playoff series or been to the playoffs since he beat the Knicks in 2021. I guess
I think
they
it's
made it.
he hasn't won a playoff series.
Yeah, hasn't won a series. Yeah, they got bounced in the first round after that. But you got my point. It hasn't been that successful team wise.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just to kind of just throw gas on the fire, kind of keep
Yeah.
it going
I
because it's been
don't
a while, you
I
know.
don't mind what he's doing. I actually think it's a good thing because this is the first time people have been talking about the Wizards in a national
That's the thing.
spotlight in a while.
Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of like he just wants to. I think he's just having fun and like he just wants to. Like I think he really wants it to be a rivalry. Whereas like from the Knicks side, it's like, all right, bro, like, that was a long time ago. We just won. But I also understand his perspective. Like he kind of wants to make it a thing because, like you said, it's like it's just good to have the team on that
Yeah.
spotlight, because
No,
it's
yeah,
just
it's
good to
good.
play under higher pressure, you
They
know.
haven't had a personality like this since John Wall.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you really gotta be like entertainment is important because it's like it just gives higher stakes to your situation. It just,
Yeah.
like and if the young guys can shine, even with Trey doing some of his, silly stuff like that, it's not gonna get in the way of the game, but it's just
No.
like if the young guys can shine even with the whole little vibe with the Knicks and everything, that would be good.
Yeah. Anything else that you have to get off your chest here?
Um Just a couple other games I was looking at. They're playing the Spurs on New Year's Day. That's pretty wavy.
That is
uh,
nice.
yeah. So they're hosting that one. So that's another one where it's like, all right, like if you get the Spurs on New Year's Day, you play good, you play well and a win in that one,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Which
And
it's
then
weird. It's not nationally televised.
no, it's not. Yeah. However, one of the ones that is nationally televised is facing the Sixers on January 12th, NBC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so obviously LeBron, Jalen Brown, blah blah blah. That one, I believe, yeah, it's on the road.
I
So,
also think it's weird they gave them a nationally televised game against the Suns. I think that's a little bit weird.
I don't get that. It's like, why
I don't
pick
get it.
that one? And it's like right after the Jazz one too.
Yeah, it
It's like
is
weird.
immediately after the Jazz one. It's the
Yeah,
first
it's
game
so
after it.
weird.
And like I said, I don't get why you give, the Jazz Wizards one on Prime. I don't know why you don't do like NBC.
Yeah,
Like
but because it's like, NBC, you give that to the LeBron team, but get kick the young guys onto Amazon Prime where they, make them
where
get a
no one wants to buy the Amazon Prime membership because how many games are on Amazon Prime that you want to watch?
that's the thing, man. It's like they use that one as like, okay, let's see if we can get them to sub for that one, but then like with Braun, it's like, no, we got to put it on cable because it's
We
LeBron. So we got
we
to
got
do
to make
that.
sure people can watch
But
this one.
yeah, like we're not gonna make people subscribe to watch Braun, but let's see if we can convince them for the young players,
Yeah.
like so,
I do like though how the NBA Cup game against Boston is on NBC. They did get that one right.
that's a good
Um,
one.
Detroit on Peacock, which is the first one that I had circled as well. It's a little bit. Once again, I don't know why you give it, like that nationally televised game, but
Yeah. I think they played Detroit on Peacock last year when they almost won, but they lost in OT. Remember that when CJ scored a bunch of points?
yeah,
Uh,
if you were giving, like this early in the season them a nationally televised game, you probably
yeah.
do it against the Hawks on November 4th instead. I feel like
Mm.
that one would have been.
Yeah, because of the Trey Young angle, that would be good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think they gave them a nationally televised game against the Hawks at all.
No, I don't think so.
Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like none of those Hawks games are nationally televised. It's going to be Trey Young's return to, like
Right.
Atlanta. Like you don't give any of those nationally
Yeah, it's
like a cable game.
the national ones are that first one against Detroit November 9th and the Celtics NBA Cup one, and then another one against the Celtics on ESPN
Which
in
that's the
December.
thing. A third of
Right.
their nationally televised games are coming against the Celtics.
So weird. Yeah, and then
Which
the one against
I'm not going to
Philly.
complain.
Yeah, and then Utah, and then the Suns. Like, so yeah, I don't know why if you're only giving them six, why two against Boston and then it's two in a row.
I
Like,
don't
I don't
know.
get that.
I don't.
But
I don't get it. And
yeah,
not a single one against the Knicks.
no,
Like
that's also weird. And the
like
Knicks
it's
have like so many. Like,
they have
how many do the Knicks have?
34. They have
34, not
34.
one against the Wizards, bro. I mean, because that's also a Trey Young angle. So I don't get. It's so weird.
It's just the whole
Like,
schedule, like it just doesn't make rivalry weekend, for example. All right.
if they're not
Yes.
rivals, like they make that up.
Yes, the classic Warrior Spurs rivalry. Of
They
course.
just throw in whoever and call it a
Why
rival. Like,
why did I never think of that one? Why did I? Yes, the classic the classic OKC Lakers rivalry. Yes, they've always had a rivalry.
like
Ah,
I want to hear Silver explain what a rival is in this terms. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't. And like I get Atlanta, New York if it was 2 years ago,
yeah,
but the big
right.
reason for that rivalry is no longer in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's no like he's no
Well,
longer
okay,
there.
okay. Yeah, to be fair, I guess because they played in the playoffs last year. But still,
Even
it's
then,
still
like it's
yeah, it's
no
flimsy.
one no
You
one
know,
cared they played against each other in the playoffs because Trey Young wasn't there.
yeah.
No one.
I mean, yeah, it was a good series. But yeah,
all
like
all of
CJ
the
had
games
a
that they
moment.
gave pretty much are playing like someone playing against their former team, like Timberwolves Hornets, for example. It's
Yeah,
just LaMelo Ball. That's never been a
yeah.
rivalry. That's
Yeah,
that's
the
never
vaunted
been.
Timberwolves Hornets rivalry. Everyone is going to be shook about that one.
Heat Sixers.
Well,
Like
okay, yeah, LeBron. Oh my God,
I
like
just
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of these. I'm like, I don't get where the rivalry stands. Did I mention Heat Bucks? Did I mention that one?
No, you didn't.
Oh my
Of
goodness.
course.
Have you heard
Giannis,
about the Heat
whoa.
Bucks rivalry that has gone on since 1971? Those organizations hate each other.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Like I don't there are very few rivalries actually on here.
Yeah.
Very
That's so weird, man.
the
And of
the
course
only ones the only
the
ones I'm
Wizards didn't get
seeing
any.
the only ones I'm seeing that are like true rivalries are Denver and OKC
Mhm.
and Knicks Lakers.
So they didn't even put Celtics Lakers?
Then you
That's
even put
like the most
Celtics
historic one.
Lakers. That is like if you're talking
The
NBA
rivalry.
rivalries, you're talking 18 Panthers against 17.
Oh
Something
my
that has been
god.
going on since the 60s.
It's literally formed like the sport. Like, what are we talking about?
Do you know how many times when I was living in Boston, I would walk by TD Garden and you have street vendors selling FLA shirts out there? It still exists.
Yeah.
Why did they not get a game? Silver, what are we doing? But
Yeah.
yes, let's give Cavs Raptors one of the spotlight games because they went to 7 in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like they're just throwing in whoever played in the playoffs last year. It's like that's not a rivalry. They just matched up once. Like, what are we
Rivals week.
doing?
Oh my goodness. It's going to be so heated watching like, oh, the great state of Texas rivalry of Spurs Rockets. If anything, make it Spurs Mavericks. If you're going to have a
Yeah.
Texas team play against a Texas team, do that one.
Yeah.
It's
Man.
just
Anyway,
it's just bad. It's it's just bad looking at some of the matchups that they gave. But
moral of the story is that this NBA schedule is very silly, but if you're a Wizards fan, there's a lot of matchups to look forward to as long as you have access to monumental sports in DC, or if you have NBA League Pass if you're out of market. You got
which
to
we
have one
will
of
be
those three.
watching League Pass out of market here. We will I will be doing
um,
that. League Pass. I love League Pass. A lot of people hate on League Pass. I love it.
no, it's a great product, but yeah, it's just with the national TV stuff, it's like, you gotta like. I feel like fans are like for the Wizards and Jazz, for example, it's like you're making them get League Pass if they don't live in the market. And it's
Yeah.
just like, but it makes sense though, because of course the NBA wants to do
But
that,
League Pass, it's not that bad. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I paid $20 because like I want the premium one where like I can split screen everywhere. That's me. But I think League Pass is only like $10 a month,
Okay, fair.
which
Yeah,
is not
no,
that bad
but
then.
no, it's not. But I'm just saying though, like, it's like it sucks that, fans outside of those areas have to get it just because it's like the national TV stuff is so barren for them.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah,
I get what you're saying.
it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not in
Uh,
the world. It'll be fine. Just
yeah.
don't I'm telling you guys, as bad as you guys will want to watch that Utah Washington game, February 27th, don't bite the bullet and get Prime. Don't unless you already have Prime,
That's what
that's
I'm saying, unless you
fine.
have it already. Yeah.
But if you're getting Prime strictly just for that game, don't. You'll live. There I promise you, wink wink, there are other ways to watch the game. I promise you.
Yeah. That's what
So,
I'm saying.
but
Yeah.
that's a pod.
Yeah, man.
That's a pod. Thank you guys for tuning in, listening as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.